to our second bookcast in our summer reading series. I'm Marcy.
I'm Lisa.
I'm Jennifer.
What book?
What book?
Whoop whoop.
What book? Book club. Bookcast.
All right, that's it.
Okay. All right. So I want to make an announcement before we get started. Tanya, our friend Tanya, will not be with us for at least this one, and maybe the next ones for our summer reading series. Just scheduling difficulties, but she will drop in periodically as a special guest star.
Basically, she's too famous and important.
Right.
Because right now, instead of doing bookcast, she's going to a different media, and she is starting up this awesome open mic night where
That's
people are going to
true.
read stuff that they
Right.
write. So maybe we can special guest over there, and she can come back
We
and
could do like
special guest.
live, what is this? A bookcast? We could do a live
We
bookcast.
could with audience questions.
Wow. That would be awesome.
For our fans. So
She'll
we
be a
line
friend in
up
high place for us.
outside of the door.
Right?
I just
Ready.
want to say that I set up the YouTube channel and posted our stuff up yesterday.
Thank
I
you.
posted three bookcasts because I wanted us to like catch up, and we already have like 18 views.
Look at that.
All right.
It's crazy.
Woo-hoo.
Well,
We're
you
moving up.
posted it on Facebook, and then I shared it.
All right.
So nobody commented, but I bet they're all secretly like, oh, well, whatever. I'm not
Just
gonna
so you
like
know,
it.
fans, if you
Haters.
comment and ask
Ooh, I
questions,
should-
we'll answer them live on the
Oh,
bookcast.
I like it.
Yes, definitely. We will
Yeah.
do that. We are open to whatever the fans want from us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I guess we'll just go around the table and each of us can say what our memoir was. And this, if I had mentioned before, is our discussion of our memoir that we had picked out earlier in our earlier bookcast. So mine was A Heartbreaking Work of Staggering Genius by Dave Eggers.
By the way, I wrote that down, and I couldn't believe that that's what the title was.
It's a
Like, I
long
couldn't have
title.
wrote that down right. That's got to be like a review of it.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody wrote that about themselves. Awesome.
Yeah, that's why I picked it, because of the title. It seemed really kind of funny and kind of cute in a way. I'll tell you if it lived up to its.
I could tell by the cover picture there, it was not cute.
Actually, it was supposed to be. He was trying. Anyway,
Oh, seriously?
so let's go around.
All right.
So that was mine.
I picked mine because I liked the title as well. Also because there was a picture of a cute mouse in Shakespearean gear on the cover. It's called, mine was Let's Pretend This Never Happened, a mostly true memoir by Jenny Lawson, the bloggess.
I picked Is Everyone Hanging Out Without Me and Other Concerns by Mindy Kaling. And I just thought it was hilarious.
Okay.
She's hilarious, so that's why I picked the book.
Yeah.
But she looks very cute on the cover.
Yeah, she does. It's true. I've seen the cover.
She's cute. She's a cutie pie. I really like her show. She just comes across as somebody that you just want to get to know
Yeah.
and sit down with.
That
and
we could
talk
be
with.
friends with.
Yeah.
And I think I watched that show so much, I could almost read the entire book in her voice.
What, the one where she's the doctor?
Yeah, The Mini Project and The Office.
Oh, okay. Oh, right.
But let's talk about Marcy's book first.
All
I want
right.
to hear about your book.
All right.
Here it's supposed to be
So
cute.
That's
it
not
was
a
a
good start.
bit disappointing. It was meant to be kind of funny, although, it's about this this young man. I think he's talking about he ends up raising his siblings, I guess. His
And this
mother.
is supposed to be a memoir?
It is. His mom and his father pass away. His mom from cancer. I don't know where I get this cancer trip going, but anyway, so she passes away, and so does his dad, and he ends up having to, because he has, he had siblings who were under 18, kind of having to live together and kind of raise them, between him and his older sister. And so he does, it's not meant to be a depressing story, although, when you get into when he talks about his mom and how his dad passes away, it is sad. That's not how this is written. It's not really a very deep or very sad, very emotional book. It's meant to be funny and kind of blasé. My problem with it wasn't the sadness, it was that he was just so dang wordy, kind of like what I am now. It took him 5 paragraphs to say something that could have taken 3 sentences. And it was very, very difficult to actually get through. And I actually didn't finish it because of that. It wasn't wasn't funny to me in that way, and I found it difficult to actually get through. It's well written. It's not a bad book, and if you like that dense literature or that dense wording like that, this is probably a very good book to get through, but for me, I couldn't do it.
This book, I don't know why, but I don't know if I tried to read this or like Oprah just talked about it a lot, because I think this is one of Oprah's books, or she did something with Dave Eggers. For some reason, I think it just blocked it from my memory, because it's probably that gets on my nerves, like the whole wordiness thing. Like, just say it.
I know.
Get it out.
It starts off really, you could tell that he wants to be funny and kind of cute and all that, because he has, before you even get to the book, he has this prologue and all that, and there's rules and suggestions for enjoyment of this book. And so he goes there, and that was actually kind of funny. So he's like, oh, you could just skip this. Maybe, actually just go to page 120. You could skip everything before that. And then he has this one part, it's a preface, and it almost sounds like lawyer talk, lawyer speak. It just the way he writes it is just very difficult to get through, and that's really again why I didn't like it. I get what he was trying to do, and for someone who enjoys that reading style or that writing style, it's probably a great book, and that's probably why Oprah picked it. But for me, I don't really care for that type of writing.
Yeah, she does like those kinds of books where they do that.
So I wonder how books end up that way. Like how long is the book overall? Is it like a 200-page book or like a 700-page book or?
Oh, it doesn't even say. This one doesn't say how many pages is in it, because mine's a Kindle version. So I have 6 hours and 34 minutes left in the book, but I don't know how many pages that actually equates to.
All right, I feel like that's a plug for Kindle. So if you want to send us new Kindles, feel free.
Right.
I love my Kindle. I hate real books now. I'm just like,
pay us in advertising.
I wonder if he talks that way and that's the voice that's coming out, or maybe he's, I don't know, like trying to fill pages, or he wants to explain it a certain way.
I think that's probably how he talks. Maybe if that's not how he talks, it's a deliberate thing. I don't think it's that he didn't have information to fill up. It was, you could tell it was a deliberate choice. There was one part where when his mom was sick one day or something, and he just went through this. It lasted like at least 3 or 4 pages, where he was going through this whole scenario of what he was supposed to do. Take her to the hospital. Take her to the hospital. What if I do that? You know, just what if this happens? What if that happens? What if that happens? And that would have been fine for 1 page. But they kept going on and on and on and on, and he did that for a couple of different types of scenarios in the book. So it was certainly a deliberate choice, and maybe it is the way he talks. He's just that kind of wordy type of person.
Yeah, and especially if the prologue is so different from it,
Well, the prologue is similar. It is. The whole thing is, and I'm like, okay. And then it's just, after a while, you just get overwhelmed with all of the words.
I don't know.
Too many big words.
yeah.
I hate reading a book that I have to look up words in. Like, thank God for Kindle, plug number 3, I think.
Yeah.
Because you can like click the word and it'll define it for you.
I love that.
I especially feel stupid when I'm reading a book like Twilight. And I'm like, I don't know what that word is, and this is written for teenagers. Can you please define it for me?
But I'll twist it around. Sometimes I'll know what words mean because of that whole situation. I'm like, what the heck is this? And then I'll impress people at, like my husband or something like that. He's like, how do you know what that means? Just intelligent. He doesn't have to know that I read it in a stinking Nora Roberts book or something like that, some cheesy romance. He doesn't need to know that. Sometimes you get all kinds of weird facts and things from books that, just because it's in there. Yeah.
I have a hard time with memoirs altogether because I feel like a lot of times the memoir is written in a way that, I don't know, like I'm trying to make myself, like my experience seems so different or seems so interesting. And it adds this, it adds this thing to the book that makes me feel like, it turns me off almost to the book. I don't like indie films, most indie films, because of that, because they're like, oh, I'm trying to be cool and ironic and whatever, and so I usually even just shy away from watching them. I don't care how great Slumdog Millionaire is, I will never watch it, because I feel like it was one of those movies that was made that way and then hyped that way. even if it wasn't made that way, it was definitely hyped that way.
Right.
And I just can't do it. Like, I'm just not into that. So, I mean, this genre altogether is not one that I usually ever read. I think I've read three autobiographies or memoirs in my life. One of them my sister gave me, Molly Ringwald's Getting the Pretty Back or something like that. And then for book club, I picked Bossy Pants because I love Tina Fey. Mm-hmm. And I'm a SNL voyeur, so anything SNL. Mm-hmm. I love to read and watch, and I watch all those stupid shows on TV. It's like SNL in the 90s. It's like, you know, a 3-hour thing.
Yeah.
And the only reason I picked this one is because we had to pick a memoir for the bookcast.
Well, that's a nice segue. So, how did you feel about yours? So, let's talk about your...
So, first of all, I think I you know, it's one of those things where you get to know an actor so well because you're constantly watching their stuff, and you feel like you kind of have a relationship with them. So, if it were anyone else, I probably wouldn't have liked the book because I wouldn't have cared as much or thought it was as quirky or funny or whatever. But I really liked this book. And I liked it because it wasn't trying to be anything but just random musings of Mindy's. And that was what was so cool about it. Even in the beginning, the whole first chapter, she talks about different names for the book that she thought. Like one of them was Harry Potter, number 9, or something like that. It was like names for this book that my editors told me probably not to name it. You know, it was really funny. Like, she just was like, it was light. It wasn't trying to be heavy. And she didn't really have anything extremely negative happen in her life, or that she talked about, which is fine. You know, and that was the same with Tina Fey's. She had that horrible thing happen to her, and 2 paragraphs, done. She's moving on. Yeah. So it was just really funny, and it wasn't like chronological. It was just like, and now I would like to talk about this. Yeah. And now I'm going to talk about this. And I just thought it was really funny because I like The Office a lot. And so because she was writer on The Office, you learned a lot about just the inside thing of The Office. And she had some cool pictures in there of her actual desk at Office. They were like making fun of her because she's never actually there. And she says, here's the study in my house. And she shows this picture, and it's beautiful, like big mahogany desk, all this stuff. She's like, but this is where I actually write. And she's like on her bed in pajamas, laptops up on her knees, and then she shows her office at work, and it's like, she's like, it's really just a large closet, and it's got like dresses hanging up and shoes. And I also like, she talks a lot about not being, you know, a typical like female actress. Like, she's not a size 0, she's not white, and so she like in a non-heavy way kind of talks about that and says she just thinks it's ridiculous that other people have those ideas, and not in like a, you know, down with whatever Hollywood. She's just like, they keep trying to put me in black, or I guess the new thing for like you know, not super thin actresses is put them in navy blue. And so she would go in and she would she said she tried very hard not to be like the crazy actress, and she went in for like a photo shoot, and they had all these beautiful dresses, and they were all sample sizes. So she didn't fit in any of them, and she went back and she like got really upset about it. And then she came back, she's like, you will give me one of those dresses. And like the seamstress or whatever was almost crying as she like let the dress out, and it was held together with string in the back, but the photo shoot was beautiful. She's like, I'm not wearing another navy blue frock. I don't care what you say. It's not happening. So I just thought it was really funny. It was light. It was an easy read. I think maybe 200 pages altogether. Yeah. And I read the book of it, like the actual book. So, I don't know. Something feels different when I read the book of something.
Right. I kind of feel the same way about the whole memoir and biography type of stories. I think I have to be really interested in the person that it's about for me to enjoy it. True. You know, sometimes I'll get, you know, a particular book that I like. The Wild. I was really, really surprised how much I
didn't expect to like that one so much.
But
neither.
Normally, and even with this one, you know, they're all, somebody's always dying, somebody's always this, they're talking, I'm an addict, I'm this, you know, something bad. After a while it becomes Because that's what makes them interesting, is the thing that happened, not
Or that's
them.
what they think makes them interesting. They don't even give you a chance to decide if they're interesting.
Yeah.
They're like, here's what's interesting about me, and I'm just going to keep hitting you over the head about it the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's, yeah, I don't really care for that much.
Yeah, me either. I don't like it in regular books either. When, like, the author or the person who's it's all happening to is kind of talking to you or talking to themselves, if they keep, like, just trying to hit you over the head with it over and over and over again, oh, I have cancer, and that sucks, and oh, I have this, and that sucks. It's just like, well, I mean, if that's what the interesting part of the story is, then I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Let's move on to something else. Read the last chapter like Marcy, I'm done. Mark it read.
Yeah. All right, Jennifer, what about you?
I chose mine randomly because I don't like memoirs, so I came unprepared. You know, our first initial. So basically, it was just on Kindle. Kindle recommended it. I was like, all right, Kindle, I love you so much. I guess Amazon, technically, wouldn't be technical.
Plug. Corporate sponsor.
Yeah.
So I chose this one because, like I said, I like the little mouse. It's very cute.
Does the mouse have a sword?
I don't know. I think so. No sword, just a little cape. A little cape with like a Victorian collar. What are those called? The dog collar? This hurts my heart a little bit to say, but because I find me really funny.
You find you really funny?
I find me really funny.
Oh, okay.
And I read this book, and like she sounds a lot like me. And my aunt read this one after me, and she's like, "Did you write this? Do you know her? Do you pull stuff from here?" I'm like, "No," but like halfway through, and I laughed out loud throughout this at some parts. But halfway through, I was like, I'm really getting sick of her. And I was like, wow, am I that irritating? Because she just keeps on and on and on. I'm like, girl, take a break and just stop for a second. Like, it was really funny. And she doesn't really talk about, I mean, I guess she talks about serious things. Like, she kind of grew up really poor. And I'm trying to remember, I read this a while ago. She,
Let's just take a pause here because Jennifer has grease brain still.
I do. And
she went to Greece for like 5 months and left us all here, and she went on this extravagant vacation and read books during.
I did.
But I don't know.
Yes. I did. It was awesome.
That's Greece.
So I read this one in Greece, and so I mean, obviously there's other stuff too in Greece that I was reading, so you can see why I wouldn't have been giving this my full attention. Oh, it includes a new chapter too, it says. She just irritated me after a while, but I still laughed. I mean, it was funny. It's not, like, I can't do something serious. Like, I don't even remember memoirs I read. The last one I read was Pete Townsend. And before that, I don't do, I guess Wild. Only because I had to, because it was a book club one, which I really liked. But I don't like serious ones. This one wasn't serious. I didn't like it because it was too funny. Like, there wasn't really anything serious. She just didn't take a break from it. She was just, like, on all the time. I'm like, oh, man.
Well,
am I really like that?
Well, the thing is,
crazy.
She's on all the time in the book.
Yeah.
You know, but
Maybe
she's probably not like that in real life. Yeah. And I think you're running into that thing that they say about, I'm not calling you crazy, but that thing they say about crazy people. If a crazy person wonders if they're crazy, they're probably not crazy.
Okay.
Right?
Good, right?
So funny person wonders if they're bordering annoying, you probably aren't.
Oh, okay.
You know, when you're faced with someone who is.
Mm-hmm.
That's good to know.
But, you know, that it could just be her, like, writing all of these pieces down, and then the compilation makes it seem like it's all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But it might not actually be all the time.
Yeah.
I think that's just another piece of why we just kind of don't really read this genre very often. It's because it gets to this kind of shtick. You have that one thing that is the central piece to the book. You know, cancer. Somebody died of cancer, or my drug abuse, or whatever it is, or I am super funny. I am the funny one, and then that's the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think part of this is too that she writes blogs. I didn't look it up, but in here she kind of mentions it. So I'm wondering if these are just like if she just pulled blogs, because none of them really go together. I don't even remember how it ends.
Oh.
I was like, what happened in that book? Like, it talks about her being a kid. Talked about her, like, meeting her husband, having a kid. Not really.
What does that mean?
Well, I mean, not like it doesn't, like,
Spoiler
it kind of touches on them briefly, like the kid. And, like, I don't even know how to, it might just end.
So it looks like out of the books that we had recommended or said we were going to be reading as part of our summer reading series, it looks like it's a 1 out of 3.
Her thing, won't tell me, but I can see a little bit of her biography or her like blurb where it tells you about the author, and it says Jenny Lawson is a very strange girl who has friends in spite of herself, which I thought was funny. But I can't read the rest of it because I don't have the internet. Whatever.
Oh. I don't know. I think memoir isn't really my thing. I don't really dig reading it that much because I get bogged down on what the author's trying to tell me is important about the story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I really like fiction because there's like 100 different important things that are happening at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And you can care about one and they'll remind you about it later when you should care about the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what I liked about Wild. The running theme in that was just the walk.
Mm-hmm.
So while
That's
I got
right.
bored with her walking, it wasn't like, it was the running theme, but it wasn't like integral.
Well, she had 2 things. It really was her life story, and it was how she worked through her issues through this walk. So it went, back and forth. So she went to the present or at that moment during the walk and the things that she was dealing with at that time. No money, losing a shoe, and then you can tie that back to her issues just in general, why she was doing that walk. So it was, and that's, if you're going to do a memoir, that's how you do it.
Right. It was, I liked it. I think that when they're chronological, it at least gives you like a way to progress forward. When they're kind of like cut and paste in here and in there, which I was worried about. Mindy's book was because it doesn't really have that central theme going through it, that I was going to get bored, but luckily some chapters only have 2 paragraphs and then you're on to the next chapter.
Then I think that's also a plus. If you just have like little thoughts or whatever, change it up. Do a poem in one chapter, or bullet points in another. I think Bossy Pants was kind of the same way. It was just this this stream of thought type of thing. It wasn't went through different places. It kept your interest in a way that you didn't get tired of the person. You didn't get tired of the person's voice. You didn't get tired of listening to them.
Well, she kept it short too. Like
Yeah,
her chapters were like, this one kind of drug a little bit.
Right.
Mine, she just kept going on and on.
Like mine, it just really, the guy just must love the sound of his own voice.
Yeah.
He just loves it.
One of my other, well, I guess I've read a couple more than I thought I did, but one of the other books I read, I don't know what it would be considered. I mean, what makes a memoir a memoir? It was true. It's a musing or something. I don't really know.
I think this genre is like anything else. You have the same thing for science fiction or fantasy or for mysteries. You have the low end ones where people just are just writing something. They can string some words together, put some paragraphs together, but there's nothing original about it. It can be kind of boring or whatever. And then you have people who kind of are at the top of the food chain who are really, really very talented in what they do and how they put together, this particular type of storytelling, and see what I got for Christmas. Alta actually gave me. It was one of those desk calendars, and every day it has a different book that it recommends. I have a big pile of them.
That's awesome.
I rip them off every day. And am I going to keep this one? No. Am I going to keep this one? Yes. And I have like a little running pile of the books that I want to read.
Wow.
But I was surprised to see how many memoirs that it's, because these are just supposedly just really great books of whatever that came out at whatever time. It could be a classic, it could be something that came out a year before they made the desk calendar or whatever. But that showed me how huge this particular genre was, even though it's not something that I particularly read all the time. So you can have people who just, I'm going to write a memoir and it's going to sound just like all the other ones I read. I'm not going to do anything original. I'm going to do a funny one, or I'm going to do a really serious one. Or it could be someone who, I'm going to write this thing and it's going to be different than anybody else's and it's going to have a voice, and when people read it, they know they're reading something that's unique and original and really, really good. I think just Harry Potter is another one where you just, it is fantasy, but it's, we were kind of talking about she does it in this unique and original way.
Yeah.
It kind of changes, the whole genre. And now people are writing stuff like her, trying to write like her, trying to repeat what she's done.
Yeah, Tanya, she's got a couple writing ideas, but one of them is just writing about just something that her son is going through. And she said for her, it just felt like really important for just someone to read, even if it's just one person could read the story and then feel like, oh, that helped me in some way deal with the same issue. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, yeah, I can see like setting out to write a memoir because you're writing about something about you, but I hate to say it, like I could probably write a few, but nothing significant has really happened to me in my life. I mean, I had a couple crappy things happen, and I guess I could write about those, or I could write about nothing and just write a funny one, but I don't think I'd ever fall in the original area of it. Even though I think I'm very funny. Like Jennifer.
I don't know if you're allowed to say that.
You just said that.
I know, but I
don't know about
make
you guys, but
myself
I'm
laugh.
Hilarious.
I do. I think about things I say sometimes. I'm like, oh, that was good. That was really good.
I take all laughter, even if you're laughing at me. I don't care if you're laughing at me or with me. I'm going to take both of them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I just want to say, so Amazon will recommend other books based on, or I guess it's customers also bought for the books that you have. So the one that customers also bought for Let's Pretend This Never Happened is Bedtime Stories for Children You Hate. That sounds terrible. I'm going to have to check that one out.
Oh, I see Bossy Pants in there.
Mm-hmm. Bossy Pants, yeah. I did like Bossy Pants. I don't like ones that take. Well, that's not true because I feel like, and like what you were saying, Lisa, that people will write them and to help somebody get through something. And I feel like I haven't read a memoir for that reason, but I've read them where they've gone through something ridiculous, and just been like, wow, that really sucks.
But then, are you bordering? I guess I don't get the genre because then aren't you bordering like self-help or? I don't know.
It's like watching Dr. Phil.
Right.
Yeah. Which I love. Watch Dr. Phil. Another little plug for, if you want to.
Dr. Phil!
If you want to come and talk about your latest book, we're perfectly fine with that happening. Yeah, I guess, if you like to peek into other people's lives, and kind of have that interaction with people. Yeah. And know that it's true and it's not just, I can see why people would like it. It's just, I like escape, and if there's something that's totally improbable, and if it's the further away from it is from my real life, the more I enjoy the story.
Well, millions of people went to the Justin Bieber autobiography movie that he made when he was 17 and been famous for like 2 years.
Seriously, Never Say Never. So it wasn't like an autobiography, but he's got a really amazing story up until that time. Like just when he was a little boy.
He was like, a few years ago I was in diapers.
His mom.
You know what bothers me about that? I mean, I didn't see it, but this is what.
Good. Plug for BB.
How do we know that he is all that unusual? Maybe it's just that his mom decided to put his stuff online or whatever. Well, there's all kinds of kids that do all kinds of amazing and special things. And every kid to their
moms didn't think it was that great.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes I think
it's not about talent. It's about right place, right time. Like
that's how I
feel about. He's also talented, but
that's how I feel about Britney.
When
she came out, I was the same age. I think she's like a year younger than me or something. And I was like, man, I sing better than her. I can dance better than her. That could be me if I was in Hollywood.
Britney Spears is a pretty darn good dancer.
Wait. Sorry. Thank you, Calvin. My mouth is full with the red velvet cupcakes.
Those are delicious cupcakes. Thank you, Calvin.
Here's the thing about Britney Spears. She's a good dancer. She's a good singer. She's like 16 years old when that started.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't have a job, I'm not going to school, I'm not going to college, I could definitely have the time and the money to have someone show me some fancy dance moves.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And they do make, the worse you dance, the harder your background dancers are doing. So all you have to do is just at the right time, put your hands up, look to the side while they're looking at you, and you're like, right? Wow, how awesome is that person? And you don't realize it was the background dancers doing the whole thing.
She's no like Usher, who's an amazing dancer, who puts his background dancers to shame. And I don't know if she writes those dancers herself, or writes those dances herself. Choreographs, I guess.
No.
So either way, I think that's a big thing. It's like right place, right time. But then couldn't you say that about anyone that's famous? Anyone who's famous for, I mean, at all, even if they've done something great. They had one person believe in them, or one person tell their story or pass their story on, just like the way this bookcast is going to make us famous.
Exactly. I read this. I think it was an article, and maybe it was a nonfiction book. It was a paragraph or two about this nonfiction book, and I really wish I would have read the whole thing. But it had this premise about certain people who are born at this, I guess, this point in history where they're going from, like, I guess, something old into this new way of doing whatever it is. And they just are born at the right time, and they become, like, pioneers, filthy rich in this, whatever this genre is. So you had, at the beginning of this industrial age, where you had, like, the, who were the steel guys, you know, you had the Rockefellers and all that. It's not that they were, I mean, I'm sure that they were very smart and driven and brilliant people, but it's not that they were so totally unusual. They were just born at this cusp before everybody kind of got in, right? You know, kind of at the perfect time. And it was the same thing with, like, people like Bill Gates. We were talking about Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. It's not that they were just born at this perfect time.
Yep.
To take advantage, and you know, of this new way of doing business and this new technology or whatever, and they were able to take it into this place, and now they're like, you know, it's Bill Gates. You know, you say that name probably anywhere in the world, they'll know it. But if he was born 10 years earlier or 10 years later, he could have been, hey, Bill, you know. He could have been sitting next to us, actually, at work. Hey, Bill, how was your weekend? You know, or something like that. You never know.
I saw this meme online, and it was, I guess it's stupid to say. I saw this meme online. When else would you see one, right? I saw this meme, and it was a picture of Batman and Iron Man, and it said, "Money breeds brilliance." So, like, the two of them, super famous, not because they're a hero or strong, or they're both kind of like broody little whiners too. But it's because, you know, billions and billions of dollars can make you into what you want to be.
True.
A mom who will give up everything, drive you to Hollywood, and, you know, make you audition for 100 things till you get on the Disney show, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true. You know, they always talk about, it's a weird thing. Oh, my child is so outrageously talented. And, you know, and I have to get them involved because you don't want to waste their talent. But there's all kinds of other talents. And it's really only with entertainment that we force these kids to work, to literally work in this thing. You know, if they're smart, you know, mathematicians, we don't make them go to work. We don't make them, you know, hey, I need you to be the professor. I need you to do this. Yeah. You know, we don't make them do that, you know, or have them do that. That what they do is they continue on. Their children, if they can graduate school early, hey, more power to them. But it's only in this entertainment. Oh, well, we have to get them out there, and we, you know, then you have the Justin Biebers and the Lindsay Lohans and all of this, because we're just going to waste their talent. Well, no, you're not going to waste their talent. You never waste somebody's talent. It's theirs. Yeah. And it comes from what's the difference? You know, you have another kid who's just like very empathetic or something and may grow up to be a wonderful teacher. You don't sit here and make them teach, you know, it's just because people think that's such a special thing and so unusual and different than anything.
Because you make a lot of money at it.
That's really what it is. And we do. Yeah. I mean, it is kind of amazing. You see somebody with this beautiful voice or, you know, who has this ability, you know,
I'll tell
acting,
you,
part of it is the whole charisma of the person and everything. So,
if there were even half and half stories of child actors, where half of them went bad and half of them were totally fine, I would have Ivy auditioning for stuff now because she's funny, she's quirky, she's very pretty, and she, you know, she kind of gets like what people are saying or what you're trying to like put out there easily. I think she takes direction well. But it's like 1 out of 10 of those child actors didn't end up on coke or pregnant or burning their hair off or whatever.
Well, there's a difference too. I mean, you don't have to sit here and push them constantly. Kids can my good friend, her son's done commercials and he does little dance competitions and all of that. So he's been in the entertainment business for a few years now. But it's not so overbearing that there's this constant pressure. And I think eventually, you kind of, I don't know, maybe you're telling kids that that's where they get their validation.
Well, and that's our whole society, superstars. That's, they make lots of money. They have, crazy lives where they're jetting here and there. Teachers don't get to do that.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that
Another cupcake.
it's definitely hard I think it's hard because for a kid especially to get out of that mostly unscathed, because if their whole life revolves around it, their whole life then revolves around being judged in auditions and then being judged when they're doing something that they've been chosen to be great at. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So I'll just wait till she's older and she can choose to do it herself. I don't know if you guys know, but I did a little modeling stint when I was younger.
Mm-hmm. I did not know.
I did. I was blessed with a red afro, and so it was timely. JCPenney's, I think, had put out an Annie line of clothing, and so I did a couple runways for Annie clothing. But, I always wanted to do modeling and acting and singing and whatever, and my dad was just like, no, I think you're beautiful. I don't want you being judged by anyone else. I don't want you in a competition where it's about something you can't control. Mm-hmm. Feel free to do sports and practice and whatever, but it's not going to be about how pretty you are because you're pretty. The end.
That's a good dad.
Mm-hmm. That is good.
So I think all around we've decided that between the three of us, memoirs not really our thing.
No. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was Tanya's genre that she chose.
We'll just blame her.
Tanya.
I did enjoy my book, but... if I hadn't read it,
So if anybody's following along on our summer reading picks, post what you liked or didn't like about some of the books that we've recommended or suggested.
Yeah, and
Jennifer, what are your ideas?
Jennifer is one of those people who will read any book that someone suggests to her.
True.
So if you say, no, this memoir was super awesome and you should read that one, we'll read it. We'll read it. We'll let you know about how we feel about it, but I think I'm going to stick with fiction for now.
I think so, too.
So, what do we got coming up next, Marcy?
I have no idea. What's next? Is
Sci-fi?
it our mystery or sci-fi?
We moved mystery. So we have mystery and sci-fi left. Which one do we want to do next? I haven't finished my mystery book yet.
So let's do sci-fi.
Okay. Did you finish reading your sci-fi book yet, Jennifer?
Are we doing it today?
No.
Okay. No, I haven't. I'm like halfway done.
Yeah, I'm halfway done with my mystery.
Okay.
But I want to read your mystery too.
Yes.
It looks really interesting. And by the way, when I was looking at pictures put behind there, it came up as a picture for
I'm 10% of the way through.
Oh, that's not halfway.
But my it's only 290 pages, so that's not too bad.
Oh, okay.
Something Wicked This Way Comes. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
That's my mystery. No, my mystery is Penumbra's. My sci-fi is this one.
Yes.
My mystery is Mr. Penumbra's 24-hour bookstore.
Yeah. So which one you guys want to do next?
Let's do the sci-fi.
Each sci-fi.
We'll do sci-fi. So we'll be talking about Ender's Shadow, The Ocean at the End of the Lane, and Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I think that's right. So this was the What Book? Book Club bookcast for the summer reading series, session 2, the memoir session.
And it's done, thankfully.
Sorry, but it's done.
I did like Pete Townsend's, if anybody...
I'm surprised you didn't pick...
Didn't
you do Andy Cohen's book or whatever?
I did do Andy Cohen's book. That was a good one. I don't know why I didn't pick one I'd already read.
Yeah.
I know, I should have done that
I liked
too.
his. His was fun.
I think we were just trying to find things that we hadn't read.
Yeah.
True,
that we had seen something interesting about, and so let's pick this one and see how it does. See how we do.
Yeah.
No. I think it's kind of peppered with enough books that we had already read and some that we hadn't read.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'm Lisa.
I'm Marcy.
Jennifer.
And we're out.
We're out.